try to wonder or think, can you make more money? Can you do something better? And if you do increase just a bit, you can double or triple your income. So I think it's worth it to take a look at the KPIs, define an objective, define a target that you want to achieve, and go after it. That's the way that we approach it, at least.
So how can someone learn how to sell? Because a lot of people are not good salespeople, right? How does someone learn how to sell?
I would say that there are three basic rules for selling. Number one, you gotta know who your customer is, but know it in a deep sense of the word. Sorry. When I mean by know your customers, what usually most of our clients come with working with us, my customer is a female, she's 40 something, she works independently and she makes money. And we're like, okay, that's the basic stuff. Who are their friends? Where does she spend the time? What's their pain point? What's their dreams? What are the things that move that person? That's how you gotta learn who your customer is. Because once you know that, you can go into number two, which is show your products, your brand as the perfect solution for that pain or for that dream. And number three, you know who you're selling to. You know how to approach your product or your service as the solution to that pain point. And number three, make it easy. Make it easy to buy.
Is it so messed up? So many people make it hard to buy. Like I want to give you my money, but you make it so
For example,
difficult.
I was talking to a business yesterday. They did sell chai tea, and they told me about this amazing attributes the product had, and this amazing flavor that usually I didn't know, but most of herbal teas taste like dust. They're not nice. But this was an amazing product because she made it like that because she hated every time that she drank the tea and it was awful. And I thought, I'm not a chai drinker, so I didn't know, but I love it. Yeah, I would love to learn more about your product. We went into the website. Go and find or discover an amazing product. Okay, I'm here. I'm trying to find out. Yeah, this is our history. Okay, you can find us here and find. And I was like, where's taste amazing? Where are all the attributes? Well, this is the version if you want to go for the office with my tea. Here's that. Make it easy. If I want tea and I want to see which offer do you have for me, which I'm a non-drinker, which I'm learning about it, just tell me, here, click here, do this, do that, put into the card and pay. That's why I'm saying, if you go into a big retailer, for example, when you go into Macy's or, I don't know, H&M, you for sure, you go into the store. I bet you $100 that you're gonna see in less than 5 seconds where the cash register is. You're gonna see a big sign, you're gonna see it on the floor, they're gonna show it, they're gonna push it. You're never gonna get lost for that. That's making it easy. If I don't showcase it, if I don't point it out, then probable you're not gonna find it. If you don't find it, you don't buy.
Yes.
Same goes into e-commerce. You gotta show people, do this, put that into the cart. Next step, go and pay. These are our frequent asked questions. Our policies, our return policies. You know that back home, 38% of purchases are with returns. So 100 people's gonna buy, 38 are gonna return or change something. Where's your policy for that? How to make it easier? What happens if this t-shirt doesn't fit? If I don't like it? How do I return it? How you can make me sure that what you're offering, you're gonna honor your word, kind of like that.
So historically, has e-commerce sales traditionally gone up every year?
It's amazing. I would say it's a market that it's growing and it's never gonna end. If you see worldwide numbers, China, 50% of sales are online. In the US, 24% of sales are online. In countries like mine, Chile and Latin America, we're still around 10% of the total amount of sales. So there's a really big gap into developing this amazing thing. But even though I would say that because of the pandemic, lots of people learned how to buy online. And there was this big assumption that online would stay forever and we were going to run out all the brick and mortars, which is not happening. people is going to decide which world they want to participate. They want to go into the physics stores, in the brick and mortar, try, test, and see, and go back home and purchase online. That's the way that worlds are going to merge and work around. So, answering your question, yes, it's something that's been growing, and it's never gonna end, because there are gonna be new ways, maybe the way that you were used to having, I don't know, an online sales on 1995, it's gonna be totally different than the experience that you're having on 2025, and probably on 2028, not so far, with all the AI movement and stuff, it's gonna be different, but the feeling, the thing that's going beyond that, it's gonna be the same. You want your life easier and simpler.
So talk about your experience being a TEDx speaker.
Amazing. Now, I always dreamed about doing a TEDx. I learned a lot about TED Talks, so I'm a big fan of TED Talks. And after the pandemic, they called me and they told me that they were organizing this event about after the pandemic, now what? And they wanted to bring somebody that could teach or something about related to e-commerce. And even though it was the beginning of the talk, what they asked me to do, I end up talking about sales, my passion, and how to bring this non-traditional passion into a business.
And so you do a lot of public speaking. Like, how do you decide where to speak at, right?
How so? Sorry.
Like, like suppose 5 organizations say, come speak for us. We don't have time to speak at 2 of them. Like,
I know, I'm very picky.
Okay.
I'm very picky because I'm passionate about teaching people how to make their business grow. Because if you grow a business, there's a virtual circle that happens. The person who is in charge of the business empowers, because they're more successful, so they're happier. And once a company grow, they open more opportunities. And if they open more opportunities, they offer more jobs, and we can end up the poverty cycle. That's what I believe. So I'm always trying, in everything I do, is to teach, enable, connect, or habilitate, or whatever you want to call it, companies or small businesses to grow. So whenever I'm asked to give a talk, it depends on the public, if I go or not. It depends if I have something to add value. Because even though they pay me for that, but if I'm not adding something, I don't like it. Because I need to be passionate about the things I'm doing. So I usually pick the ones that have more impact or the ones that are going to enable more businesses.
So a lot of people are scared of public speaking, right? There's a stat out there, most people rather die than do public speaking.
It's the number one fear.
Yeah. What tips you have for someone to overcome this fear and actually
You're always going to suffer. You're always going to be nervous. I always have I think there are 100,000 butterflies on my stomach every time I have to go on stage. But I would say I was coming here. I was listening to this new podcast I found out, and there was these 2 girls talking about how you're never not gonna be afraid, but you gotta be courageous in order to go beyond your fear. And one of the things that I've been working for me a lot is to be prepared. I would say that I practice, I don't know, 20 times a talk before I give it, even though I've given the same talk 20 times. I don't know, I've talked in more than 200 stages so far. And I love it. I really love it. I enjoy it a lot. But every time I go on stage, or every time I do a presentation in a class or a lesson, I prepare it as hell.
I'm the same way. I'm the same way.
I'm doing it again. And I have my sisters and my brother. We're all in business. So one of my tightest sisters, she's very well known in public speaking and branding and how to talk better and how to expose your ideas better. She's the toughest judge and audience I've ever had, ever. And she still is. You know, Kika, it was good what you said, but you could have, oh shit. I'm taking notes.
Yeah.
You got. I would say that be humble to keep on learning.
Yeah.
What can you do better? I usually, every time I give a talk or say something, I ask for feedback, but hopefully honest feedback. Because everybody's like, yeah, you did it great. But I'm like, I don't want you to tell me, yeah, you did it great. Did you learn something? Did I make you think something different? No. What would you have expected for me to say in order to do that? That's like the typical 3 questions I ask after a talk.